Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. As you can see, Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who follow the politics of this country very closely, you should have noted that majority of Kenyans were actually shocked when Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chairperson, declared William Samoei Arap Ruto as the president-elect of the Republic of Kenya. Most Kenyans had believed that Raila Odinga was going to win that election because Raila Odinga had the people and he had the deep state. And of course, Raila Odinga challenged the election in court. And from the way the Supreme Court made their ruling was also suspect. And it became very clear that there were external forces behind all those moves by Wafula Chebukati and Martha Koome. So William Ruto was then sworn in as the president of the Republic of Kenya. And just a few months after he was sworn in, that is February 2023, Jill Biden, the American First Lady, came into the country. Why do you think she made that trip to the country? The truth of the matter is that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. The intention of that trip was to convey American interest in Kenyan politics. And then a few months later, in June, Joe Biden himself, during the UN General Assembly, really praised William Samoei Arap Ruto in the presence of other African leaders. That was also intended to achieve or to send a message to the world.
We need more voices, more perspectives at the table. The United Nations must continue to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and alleviate human suffering. And we embrace nations stepping up to lead new ways and to seek new breakthroughs on hard issues. For example, on Haiti, the Caribbean community is facilitating a dialogue among Haitian society. I think President Ruto of Kenya, I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission. I call on the Security Council to authorize this mission now. The people of Haiti cannot wait much longer.
So it was just a matter of time. So this week, the White House issued some press statement. And in that press statement, they announced that Joe Biden will be hosting the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, at White House. That is a very big deal. And it's actually a state visit. I'm just reading this, so let me just share it with you, that President William Ruto is scheduled to be in Washington, US, on May 23rd, 2024, on an official state visit where he will be hosted by President Joe Biden. That's a very big deal. Very, very big deal. According to White House Press Secretary, the visit by the head of state is expected to focus on strengthening bilateral ties between the two countries. Of course, bilateral ties is normally what is said there. And let me just quote what the statement reads. The upcoming visit will mark the 60th anniversary of the US-Kenya diplomatic relations and will celebrate a partnership that is delivering for the people of the United States and Kenya. The visit will strengthen our shared commitment to advance peace and security, expand our economic ties, and stand together in defense of democratic values. And President Ruto, while acknowledging the news on Friday, said the state visit will provide an opportunity for both countries to explore building a beneficial partnership to benefit them. So the truth of the matter is that by Joe Biden inviting William Ruto to State House is a very big deal. In fact, if you are also following the politics and the comments online, there is a strong feeling that should Donald Trump succeed in the US election, which I think is coming up next year, then there's going to be a very big problem for Kenya Kwanza. So in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis about the invitation by Joe Biden to William Ruto to White House. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. By the way, who do you think should succeed Raila Odinga in Azimio? Who should be the Azimio leader? And why do you think Rigathi Gachagua was begging William Ruto for talks yesterday in Nyeri? Let us not get that. Let us focus on our topic for today. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think are the objective of the invitation of William Ruto to White House? Number one, in my view, William Ruto is a project of the United States of America. The reason Raila Odinga was never elected as the president of the Republic of Kenya is because the American government and the British government were not comfortable with him. There's a lot of politics going on. So after electing Ruto, Ruto now becomes the project. And it means they must show the world that this is our project. If there's one thing that the United States of America will try to do, is to ensure that William Ruto succeeds. They're going to do that. And that's why when Raila Odinga called for those mass action on the demonstrations, it is the American government who intervened. And that's why I keep on telling you that the bipartisan talks between Raila and Ruto, nobody can stop it. Rigathi Gachagua tried frustrating it. He couldn't. And I'm also convinced that it is during that period when these guys agreed that Raila Odinga was going to go for the UN. And I'm seeing the hands of America in Raila Odinga's candidature for the UN. The truth is, they would not want Ruto to fail. So they're even inviting him there so that they can send a message to anybody who cares. You see, William Ruto going to White House is a very big deal. And not just going to White House. This is going to be a state visit. It's accorded to very few head of states. So that's number one. Number two is the economic reasons. Kenya is strategically located, which makes it conducive for business. If you compare the economy of Kenya and the rest, it's a bit stable. Yeah. So American government wants to venture into it. And of course, Kenya is also has a status as a regional hub for trade and finance. So it makes it attractive destination for American investors. When Kibaki took over, most businesses were actually conducted by the Chinese. If you look at the major roads in the Republic of Kenya today, they were done by the Chinese. What happens if they are done by Chinese? It means America is losing their influence. So the truth is, the American government now wants to stamp their authority as far as the economy of the Republic is concerned. We are not going to see major projects like the SGR, the major superhighways. You see, if you take at the expressway, those are Chinese projects. We are not going to have another major project like this Chinese. Most major projects will be done by the American government or American firms through their government. And I want you guys to listen to this statement by the US ambassador to Kenya, and you can now add dots to understand.
People will live on the African continent. Africa is the youngest continent in the world, with 60% of the population under age 25. Africa, in my view, is the last and largest emerging market and offers the last big supply chain and consumer prospects, with opportunities much like the ones that we saw in Southeast Asia 20 years ago. So do I have your attention? So you now know why Africa should be on your radar, but let's zoom in on why Kenya should be your target destination. And here are some of the reasons. Kenya is the most stable democracy in East Africa. Kenya is the gateway to the East African market of almost 500 million consumers. Kenya is the regional logistics hub. Kenya is the leading finance hub. Kenya is the leading destination for foreign direct investment and venture capital. And Kenya has the Silicon Savannah, with super smart engineers and a dedicated and entrepreneurial workforce. Kenya generates over 90% of its energy from renewable sources, and Kenya's largest export market is the United States of America. Let me repeat, Kenya's largest export market is the United States, and we feel that Kenya is ready for export liftoff as it diversifies. So let's unpack a couple of those thoughts. I arrived in Kenya days before the August 2022 general elections. What I witnessed was nothing short of remarkable. Kenya held what many analysts and commentators say was the freest, fairest, most credible election in Kenyan history. The election was observed by international and local election organizations and upheld by the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. Power was transferred orderly and peacefully. Gateway to East Africa. As I said, Kenya's population is 56 million people.
Number 3 is the BRICS politics. That is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, which makes BRICS. And of course, they added other countries. Egypt is now there, Ethiopia is there, Iran is there, and United Arab Emirates is also there. Most of these countries want to do away with the dollar because dollar was dominating currency and it was making trade very difficult for most of the countries. In Kenya, for example, you saw how dollar was exchanging 160 per dollar. Currently, it's at I think 140 something or 150. So the truth is, I'm seeing the intervention by the US because most countries were feeling the heat of the dollar. And that can explain why the dollar is currently coming down. So they don't want Kenya because of its strategic location. Because Kenya being a regional hub for trade and investment. If Kenya were to join BRICS, they are going to lose. So that's why they are doing all these things to keep William Ruto on the American side. And of course, number 4, I'm also seeing a coded message to Azimio by American government, American president inviting William Ruto to White House for a state visit. That is a very strong statement. So it means you can't just play with Ruto and America will sit there and watch. It can't happen. So what I'm interested in is the democracy aspect of their discussion. What are they going to discuss as far as the democracy of Kenya is concerned? And lastly, I'm also looking at regional politics. You know, Africa currently, this competition, there are countries which are aligning themselves to US, some, like for example, the war in Israel. I was reading yesterday that the delegation from Israel for the first time was stopped from accessing AU meeting. They've always been allowed. And you can't talk of Israel minus America. So America would not want such kind of things. In the war between Israel and Palestine, the American government sided with the Israelis. While most people thought or believed that Palestine were also deserved a bit of support. And you remember William Ruto and Kenya for that matter, releasing a statement in support of Israel, which for me shocked me also. So let us wait and see what's going to happen. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.